Well, Donald Sutherland is in Disclosure, but you know, he's in so many other things. We were talking about the fact that in classes at the University of Kansas, things like MASH and Eye of the Needle and Don't Look Now and Casanova and the Kaufman Body Snatchers. Darned if you're not in all those. How does that happen? What's that all about? Luck of the draw? Or?
No, it's just the way I've been lucky in choosing. If you look at the directors of all those pictures, that's how it goes. You know.
Pretty good company you're keeping there.
Mm.
In fact, there's even a tie-in with Disclosure because it's a movie about power structures. And it strikes me that in working with the likes of Altman and Rogue and Bertolucci and Fellini, that you're dealing with very powerful men. And I'm wondering, how do they use their power? What do you remember of their respective strategies and approaches? Let's take Altman first, for example.
Yeah, he didn't have any power. None of those guys, curiously, had any power.
Mm.
They were all under the umbrella of people who had money. Mm-hmm. Those are the people who had power. Mm-hmm. The executives at Warner Brothers or Universal or whoever, those were the people who had power. They had artistic power, huge creative power, huge creative energy, but they didn't have the kind of power that the character Bob Garvin has.
How about the power, though, to enlist you in their company, to enlist your loyalty in what they're doing? That's a power, too.
I mean, it's a power in a way, but it was a desire on my part. It was only because I wanted to be a part of their filmmaking career. I wanted to work with them. My job as an actor is kind of insignificant in the sense that I'm a contributor to their process, and my task is really to agree whether or not they're correct in casting me. And once I do that, then it's their fault. And I just have to give them as much information, and the job is to pursue truth, you know, according to Brecht and according to me too. And if I can cull out as much truth about the individual that I'm playing and the environment and the social structure that he's living in, and give that to the director and inform him, then he can create his character. It's his character, it's not my character.
Now, I'm going to guess that Altman was the most of a laissez-faire guy and that Fellini was more of a hands-on stylist dealing with you. What do you think?
No, it's the reverse.
Really?
Yeah. Fellini didn't go to rushes. He didn't want to concretize his three-dimensional fantasy that he had in his head, and he didn't ever want to have to tell you to do anything. He never told me what to do. The first 4 weeks were really difficult because in not knowing what he wanted to do, I didn't know what I should do. And it was only, it was like having a lover who won't say anything. And finally, after a period of time, you accommodate yourself, and then it starts to move on its own, and the relationship, the two of you together have a life
You
of
told
their
me
own.
that he literally sat on your knee.
All the time, yeah. Yeah, he
What's
used to
that
sit-
all about?
I don't know.
Confiding in you, or?
No, it was embracing me. He would sit on my knee and talk to you, and I would be there like a chair. It was just cozy and comfy and lovely, you know. And he was wearing a hat, always. So he wouldn't try and tell you anything. He wouldn't discipline anything, but you would want to be as disciplined and particular as possible to satisfy him, and you would give him something and he would go, and then you would give him something else and he'd just do that, and you were away, and then you would say, now let me do this, and you would add something else, and that's all it was. With Bob, it was laissez-faire in the sense that he didn't have a structure, and you know, you do one scene one way, another scene, and you do the medium shot one way and the long shot another way. I don't know how they cut it together. The sound fella won an Oscar, and he deserved a, you know, a trip to heaven. But Bob, I thought he needed very, very, very specific stuff.
Yeah, I think that's true. Now, while I'm wildly guessing wrong about things, I'd guess that Nick Rogue might have been the most abstracted somehow, maybe the most preoccupied with puzzles and technical things.
Well, in a sense, yes, but he you know, we were using a 200R camera, a Panavision 200, so we had 15 degrees more of shutter, and we got a lot more light in, and it was the image was going to be totally different. He was the one who changed my life, Nick. I phoned him. He phoned me. I was in Miami working. He said, "I've sent you the script. What do you think?" I said, "Well, I think it's good. I think we should change the ending, and I think this should be altered, and I think the dialogue." He said, "Wait a second. I sent you the script. I asked you, what did you think?" I said, "Well, I was telling you what I think." I said, No. I mean, do you think yes or no?" I said, "Yes or no without any discussion?" He said, "Yes, it's my film. I'm making it. Do you want to make my film?" I said,
Wow.
"Okay." And it was his film, you know, and it has served me ever since, because I don't make films. I work for directors, and they make films. And after you understand that, it takes a great load of responsibility off your back.
Now, with Skepsy and Barry Levinson, we're dealing with two very contemporary directors, still both developing and growing. And any contrast there you can point out?
Oh, sure, they're really different. Fred has a very, very specific notion of what he wants done, and that's it. That's how it has to be. And he will work around and around until he gets it. Barry, you look at this film, it's really beautiful. The way it's cut is exquisite. And I was not aware. I was eager to do more and more. He was satisfied quite quickly. He saw stuff I didn't even know was there, you know. He was really delicious to work for. When I saw him last night going out, you know, the top two buttons buttoned and his hair like that and his face round and pink, and he looked so beautiful. I thought he was wonderful. When he stood up and spoke, the generosity of that spirit, you know, and he was nervous and speaking off the cuff. I had no idea he was nervous. He told me afterwards he was nervous in the car to dinner, but he's a dream. He's a dream. I think everyone who works for him would just die to work for him again.
Such a long career, and yet the enthusiasm, you're still learning things from these people?
Hey.
Wow.
I haven't got it right yet. I've got to keep going.
Well, thanks for sharing so many of your experiences, and we've sure been enjoying the films. Disclosure is your newest one, and Donald Sutherland and I, John Tibbetts, are here for KCTV5 in Washington, D.C.